Alright, quick video about shooting floors. First up, get your foundations right. What I mean by this is that you need to have good layout for the shooting floor, and that only comes from the foundations. So here I have done this offset peak variation, and I have planned it out that I have it here. So I have peaks here. If you were to have white caps here, it would look a little bit different, and you would have foundations, for example, here, and then you would have the floors coming from here to this way. So basically, same as here. With white caps, it's a little bit different, since they are not connected to the base usually if you don't have the connection back. And it's probably easier to have the offset peaks than the white caps here, just because of how the foundations go. However, if you do white caps, just see that they line up nicely with other ones. If it looks goofy, don't do it, because that's usually when things go wrong. So just make it so that it looks clean. Then the shooting floor looks clean as well. So yeah, here I made the offset variation as well. I could have actually made white caps here in this part. I could have made a connection in this point here. However, I decided to go with the offset peaks. It's a little bit easier to build in real life and such. So, and I think these peaks are quite nice. So you need a little bit of a game eye for this part of the video, but yeah, I think this is the most important one. Then when you have got your foundations right, you need to check that you have good coverage right next to your base. So when we look at here, we can see that we see right next to our base pretty nicely. There's no blind spots right next to our base. There's a few blind spots right below the windows there, like these spots, like there, but they can be covered from these roofs, so you can't really hide there if you don't have raid base that checks the roof all the time. However, it should be priority to try to at least make the shooting floor so good that you don't have to climb on these kind of roofs to see on those points. Especially if you don't have roof shooting floor as I have here. It's more important to have the good coverage from these peaks, not some roof things like here. And while you have good coverage on the compound and next to your base, you should also notice that you have coverage from raid base and from raiders as well. Basically, what I mean by this is that you are not 24/7 exposed to everyone outside of the base when you're on your shooting floor. I actually think that you might be a little bit exposed this base when you're on the shooting floor. I'm not sure, but it can be slight problem. You also are exposed to patrol heli from here. So if patrol were to fly here, it would be very hard for you to take it down. Or not very hard. Big base, so you have big team, but it can very easily kill you if you don't go hiding from it right away. Then next thing is must have, you need to have retake. So what I did here is that I have these mobility chutes. These have great pods that have retakes to every part. So they basically see the full roof there. I don't think there's a single blind spot for these retakes. Actually, maybe these roofs, but still you can see from those retakes. So I don't know if there's any blind spots other than that. Yeah, this might be the only blind spot, but it's not really big deal since this is a campsite pod. you have to expose yourself to multiple threats if you want to get here. And retakes are not only important in roof retakes, they are also very important in normal shooting floors as well, since if raiders breach the shooting floor and if you have turrets there, they break those and then they take control of the shooting floor, you kinda need it back. So I would have some kind of retakes to every part of the shooting floor, so you can take it actually back. So you don't have to maneuver yourself doing something weird when you could just use the shooting floor. Alright, the next thing is basically only for shooting floors, and it is that you shouldn't have too much extra space on your shooting floor. It's a little bit different on the roof shooting floor here, since this is roof at the same time, so there can be a lot of open space as we see here. But if this were to be shooting floor, if there was this much space, it would be way too much. So utilize the extra space for something else and keep your shooting floor tight and so that you still have cover from the raiders. It can be hard to do, but it's the best way, since if you have just a lot of empty space, it won't be used for anything. It just brings up the cost if your shooting floor is way too wide. For example, if this shooting floor was to bring one more foundation this way, it would be too wide. And then you should also utilize your shooting floor for other things as well. This is especially in normal shooting floors, since you have much more cover in them than in these roof shooting floors. So basically you can have bunkers, for example wall stack bunkers in normal shooting floors, while actually having the shooting floor next to it. So that could be connected to your open core, and then you have a neat little bunker right next to it. You could have also roof retakes, that's a very common one, while actually having peaks outside, and then you could have bedrooms and such things there. And these roof shooting floors, they are basically the same as normal shooting floors, but there's a couple things you need to worry about still. So the cover that I said, you should have also roof in these ones as well. Maybe this would actually be better, I'm not sure. Turret coverage just gets worse, so maybe not do this, but you get a lot more cover from patrol heli and players as well. So that's one thing you need to worry about. Second thing is that turret coverage needs to be 100%, literally. It needs to be almost perfect. Since if someone can get on your roof and there's no turret covering that part, it's kind of bad thing. And especially when that roof is your shooting floor. So someone gets on your roof and you can't even use it because you lack on your retakes and your turrets doesn't cover that part. And like I said, retakes, they're even more important on roof shooting floors than normal shooting floors, so try to make them as good as possible. Then a couple bonus tips. Don't block the vision in your compound with extra stuff. So like if there was a lot of extra stuff here and you wouldn't be able to see, for example, this spot here, it would block your vision and you couldn't shoot from the shooting floor. So you want to avoid a lot of extra stuff on your compound, so you can actually see everything in your shooting floor. And the last thing, it's good to have multitude of peaks. So if you have a lot of different peaks, I don't have here a lot of different peaks, these are basically the same peaks, but Yep, if you have a lot of different peaks, then raiders don't know what hit them, and you have much better chance at defending when you have a lot of different peaks, not all of the same type of peaks. However, this is just a bonus, not a big thing to worry about, but if you can, just make them a little bit different.